Well, thank you for meeting with me today. We're getting ready to do our episode on Bodega Bay, and we're going to enjoy some delicious food later today, but I wanted to chat with you first. And I always like hearing people's stories. That's, to me, the most exciting part of learning about the different areas that we've gone to explore. So I'd love for you to start there and kind of introduce yourself to our listeners.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for having me and including me in this. I love Bodega Bay, everything Bodega Bay, especially the area. But the Ginochio family came here more so because of my mom's side of the family, the Ambrosino side. When my mom met my dad said, "Where's Bodega Bay?" So my mom brought Dad here, and it's been a beautiful story ever since, but we have a love of food. My dad was always barbecuing. He was always doing all these wonderful things with work fundraisers, and he's a big barbecue man. And we're also big on the Italian food, which we don't do here anymore.
Yeah.
But we used to do a lot of Italian stuff. But the barbecue, we started doing catering and events, and everybody kept saying, "Why don't you guys open up a restaurant?" And that led into finding commercial space and us getting to know what we can and can't do out here on the coast. So we started the restaurant in 2015. 2016 is when we fully opened in August, and we've been wanting to do something different out here. Barbecue, smoked meats, Italian food. And then we quickly realized that the tourism really wanted seafood. So we changed that, and we did a lot of seafood, which we brought in my mom's clam and scallop chowder, my mom's fish tacos, and also the hot buttery Dungeness crab sandwich with Havarti cheese. And that started bringing more business in, and then people were like, "Oh, you guys have smoked meats." And that's really what we're known for. The area got to know us by doing events with the fire department, the community center, anything. People were like, "Food, can you do this?" We were doing it. So the local community already knew us for the barbecue. But the tourists were like, "Oh, let's do the seafood and then we'll come back for the barbecue." And that has really hook, line, and sinkered us into the community. People really love our brisket. We smoke that for 14 hours. Really love our pulled pork, our ribs. We do a St. Louis style pork rib. A lot of different things that you really don't find out on the coast. So something new.
I know, and we'll talk about that, but that's kind of what attracted me to you, because we're from the South originally. So we are barbecue people, and we're always looking for good barbecue out here. So what drew your mom to Bodega Bay originally?
So my mom's, they call Annie and Emil Valena. They were the married-in family members that they called Grandma and Grandpa. And they connected through food. And they pretty much helped raise my mom and her siblings. And Annie and Emil came here on a horse and buggy back in the long times. Rode Coleman Valley Road and Joy Road, and grew up in Occidental. And there's a lot of family history on my mom's side, because Emil, he was the first state park ranger at Dorn Beach. He lived up at the Bodega Head when there was a house up there, and helped manage everything. And he was really involved in this community. He helped start the Bodega Bay Grange Hall. He was always doing the chipino feeds, the crab feeds. When you lived in a small town back then, you immersed yourself deeply, whether it be family, community, food, and that's where my mom picked up the love of Bodega Bay, is from Annie and Emil, and my mom's side of the family, always going up to Salt Point, going to the ocean, going diving and doing stuff in the water. And then my mom really was like, "Hey, you should get involved in Bodega Bay." And my dad really fell in love with abalone diving and camping, and so my mom, Patty, is really the reason that the whole Ginochio side is in love with this area. So there's a lot of family history here too.
That's amazing, and it's great that you guys have stayed and really centered around that, and still, and we'll talk about it, are really involved in the community.
Yeah.
one question I had for you was like, what's it like working with your parents? Because I know for our 9-year-old, there are some days that she likes us better than others, and I know that gets better once she's older. But what can it be like working with your parents? And
it's honestly, I feel so blessed to be so close to my parents. I live right down the road, and they live right up the road from the restaurant. So when we first started it, my dad was always here. He made sure everything was how he wanted it, all the recipes. And now that I've made them grandma and grandpa, I've kind of pushed them out and let them, help me raise my daughter and be a part of the retired community, as I like to say, because they've done so much for me and this business. My mom, she has such great ideas. She's the brains behind all these fun names on the menu. She has done so much back work. I like to say I'm the beauty up front, and she is the brains behind it all. She keeps it flowing and going. And my dad, of course, can't forget the wonderful Italian Paul Ginochio. He is the reason all this food is so amazing. He does a lot. He did all the menu, all of the barbecue you taste is his seasonings, all of his barbecue sauce. Every bit of meat is the type of meat he wanted. So we made sure we followed everything to a T. My dad was very particular about the barbecue, which, as you should be, every pit master has their own secrets, and we wanted to make sure we followed through with that. And our chef in there, Rogelio, he's amazing. He and my dad, he's been with us for about 8 years, so I like to say he is like my second father. He says he's an Italian now, and he has done every recipe to a T, and he's followed every little thing that my dad has taught him. So all of our flavors and family has rolled into it. Even though my dad isn't here all the time now, you still get to taste my dad's flavors that he embedded into it because of Rogelio and my staff. And our food is simple, but you get to still taste the family flavors. We still do our catering. That's one thing that we still do. And you can try our Italian stuff too, our raviolis and our lasagna and all the focaccia and stuff. So I personally I've learned so much working with my family and my parents that I'm very grateful. I'm very blessed to be able to go to them when I need help and need advice, and they're right there for me. So I personally love it. I haven't had any issue, except for the occasional, let's do this, and I'm like, nah, I don't want to do that. My mom says I'm stubborn, but that's what you get with a German, Portuguese, Italian woman.
Yeah.
I'm ornery, angry, and stubborn. I don't like change. And that's one thing that you can find here is the things that you tried 8 years ago is the same flavors that you're going to try now. We don't do very much changing around because your flavor palette doesn't like that. So
yeah, and if you guys have figured out what worked and it's consistent, then people will come back for that reason.
It's all from my parents, really. Yeah. They're the reason.
How did your dad get into barbecue? Like, what kind of drove him to getting into that originally and wanting to kind of go down that path?
My dad has always been the cook. Everybody was like, hey, you need to do this, you need to do that. My dad always had barbecues that he made and smokers that he made. He had a huge barbecue on a trailer. I think it was just a hobby that turned into something more. When people see somebody making food, when you see smoke in a barbecue, you kind of gather around it. And my dad's just a very humble man, and he's always happy to share his secrets because there are no secrets. It's just about the love of food. And he really got into it because of his past work. They needed somebody to do all the fundraisers. He used to manage the garbage company in Contra Costa County, and they had huge events of over 500-600 people. And here's my dad just barbecuing by himself, cutting up all the ball tip and tri-tip like it's nothing. I think it was just in him because something about feeding people and connecting through food, it was for him. And so when we got the opportunity to open the restaurant, I think he was really excited for that. if anything, to share his recipes with the world.
Yeah, that's great. One of the other things that your website highlighted was kind of the local sourcing of your ingredients, and I was hoping you might talk a little bit more about that, because I know that's one thing that we love about Sonoma County is
Definitely.
like literally our food is grown and harvested and all those things right where we live, and I don't think there are very many places in the U.S. left that you really have that luxury. So I'm not in the restaurant business during my day job, so like how do you make those connections and decide who you're going to work with?
Yeah, definitely. When we first opened this place, we really wanted to make sure that we were supporting the local community, and that was a big part of it for us. And we really worked with the commercial fishermen. Once we were like, okay, we need to do seafood. So I got a lot of networking done and talking with the local fishermen and figuring out what is going to work, because out here it's all about seasons. Nothing's always in season, but I need to be consistent with my menu. So we sourced a lot of stuff through the fishermen, a lot of stuff through the tides, and now that I'm known for that hot buttery Dungeness crab sandwich, I need to stay consistent with the crab regardless of it being in season. So my local producer, the Tides, they're awesome. If it's not coming from Bodega Bay, it's coming from Oregon or Washington. So we have a lot of great agents, distributors, providers that make sure that things are coming locally, which is wonderful because, like you said, Sonoma County, we have an abundance of great food. So we are so lucky.
Yeah.
We always try our best to make sure we take care of that.
That's really cool, because I was wondering about the crab and like the seasons and how like you said, you're consistent with that.
Yeah.
So making sure that happens year round.
I thank the Tides for that. They're a wonderful producer. All the crab gets processed right there and they deliver to us daily. So I get fresh crab every day.
You are here a lot during the day working and cooking. So what do you guys make the same stuff at home, or do you guys like to cook stuff when you're not at work?
So I'll answer this question for my dad, because my dad, when he's here cooking, he goes home and his brain is still working. My dad is a true cook through and through. Same with our chef Rogelio. He goes home and he is still cooking. He never goes out to eat. For myself, I personally love to make anything that requires an air fryer or an oven. You know, I do appreciate all the ingredients put together, but something about people who work with their hands and food, like my dad and our chef Rogelio, they continue it on in their daily lives. And like, you go home, my dad goes home and he makes focaccia bread. He's making cheese. He's making all this stuff that most people go to the grocery store to make. So my dad still loves to make Italian food. He loves to barbecue. He loves to experiment with the brisket. Like, the reason the hash of beef is on our menu is because my mom and dad were experimenting with things. Like, it's amazing what comes out of a little bit of trickery in the kitchen. And my dad has a sourdough starter that he takes care of. Like, my dad is a true foodie. I'm a foodie in a sense that I love to eat, and I do love to cook, but it takes a lot of effort and time, and I will say, my dad, it never stops. His brain is always going. The focaccias that he makes, and my mom and dad are so good with the catering, the cheese plates and boards that my mom put together. We're not known for that here, but in our catering aspect, my mom makes the most beautiful cheese plates and the most beautiful things, and that's because they're foodies. They grew up in a time where you really had to be creative with your food to get it to the flavor that you wanted, and you only had so much given to you. My mom, their family were farmers, and they grew up not as well off as most people, and so they took from the land and the bounty and made sure that they used every aspect. And then my dad's side of the family, they were the ranchers, and they made sure they used every part of the cow. So to hear the different stories of my mom and dad and how they came to be is pretty amazing. And the way that they talk about food and the way they put certain things in, and you can tell it's because of their upbringing with food. Nowadays you get TikTok, you get all that wonderful stuff, but I don't think you'll ever get the flavors like you got back in the day.
Yeah.
You know, the simple flavors of just salt and pepper and just a little bit here and there. But it was a lot of time and love that my parents embedded into food. Like, they never cut corners growing up with food. And everything took time.
And like you said, that comes through in the food.
Yes.
And, like, people don't take that time a lot of times today. Like, I feel like it does sometimes. You just want to sit down and relax. But, like, that, like you said, is just...
I'm a mom now, so I'm like, press a button.
5 minutes.
Where's my child? It's too quiet in here.
Yeah, but that I can see that definitely coming out in
Oh,
the
yeah.
food.
Oh, yeah. Mom and Dad, when I go home, I always think, wait, what's Mom and Dad doing? I'm going to go over to their house. Like, tomorrow night, that's where I'm going. Sunday dinner.
That's great. And then I was looking at your wine list a little bit to, like, pair with the food, and everything is super local.
Yeah.
So I was kind of curious how you picked that, and, like, have you tasted the wines, and, like, how did you work with them to kind of put them on the menu?
We really wanted to make sure we catered to what people come in here for, and the biggest word is Chardonnay, Sauvignon Blanc, Pinot Noir. You know, the words that the type of wines that everybody is familiar with.
Yeah.
So we wanted to work with the local vineyard here, or the tasting room, Sonoma Coast Vineyards. We started off doing a lot of their wines, and then Bodega Bay Winery came up, which we're like, why shouldn't we gotta have Bodega Bay Winery on here?
Yeah.
And they're a wonderful family, and a lot of these places don't have tasting rooms. They just sell directly, which is great. And they're wonderful priced bottles. That's the thing. You want to come to a counter style restaurant and know that you're not going to pay $50, $60 a bottle. So we like to source wines that are local and good priced, but they also taste well with our food. We do not use a lot of seasoning in our food, so we want to make sure it pairs well and nothing's overpowering. So our Chardonnay is buttery. We use the Sonoma Cutrer. We use the Francis Ford Coppola Sauvignon Blanc. Like, we try to use the big names that people recognize too.
Yeah.
People come here for wine. This is Sonoma County. And we were like, when we were told to source local, I was like, yeah, why not? And so we only wanted to do Sonoma County wines. There are so many wonderful wineries. So we invited some in and tried to do tastings and what would pair. My mom and dad are the winey people. They're the winers. I am so, like, I was not about doing the tastings, so they did all the tastings. And I think brisket and red wine goes great, and then our Chardonnay goes great with our fish, and we get a lot of compliments, and that's what I try to base it off of too, is what the tourists want, what the locals want, because I do have locals that come in here for our wine and our view and our food, so we like to listen to the criticism. You know, most people don't like critiquing, but we'll take it because they're our bread and butter. We want to make sure we're offering what the customer wants. So.
Yeah.
And Sonoma County has so many wines to choose from. You could always switch it out, and we do every once in a while, but I have to have that Chardonnay, and I have to have that Sauvignon Blanc, because I, like, created a following for it now.
And I feel like it goes hand in hand with the local part. Like, I mean, Napa, like, there are other counties that are more pretentious, and, like, the food should be approachable, and so should the wine, in my opinion.
Totally. Yes, I agree.
The other thing that attracted me to you guys is your neighborhood involvement and everything that you guys do, and I'm going to read some of the lists, but you are involved with the Bodega Bay CERT, which is the Community Emergency Response Team, the Bodega Bay Firefighters, the Coast Guard, and a couple of the foundations or programs you have are the Waves of Compassion Foundation, which is incorporated with the Feed It Forward program. And for the little bit I saw was, like, kind of when you guys started to get involved with that was, like, right when the fires happened. And I saw an article about your mom, like, everything kind of timed with, like, the 2017 fires. And, like, she just, like, rallied the community together to provide food and what the community needed at the time. So I would love to hear a little bit about that and why you guys, it's so important for you guys to be involved.
My mom is... she's amazing. She won the North Bay Spirit Award. I had the community nominate her for that, but my mom's community involvement has really put us in the front line of doing a lot of things like fundraising or anything food related for any profit. We always want to donate or help, but my mom's really big on community, and as I said with Emil and Annie, community was a big thing for them, and my grandma and grandpa were part of the Lions Club, the Rotary Club, so when my mom got out here, she realized that there were not a lot of things for the community locals members, like CERTS, Community Emergency Response Team, was a big thing that she wanted to be a part of with this other lovely lady who started it, and it blew up, and now there's disaster sheds in all these wonderful communities that will take care of the locals during a disaster. The Bodega Bay Fire Department once was called the Bodega Bay Firefighters, and they had to fight for every little bit of money, every little bit of help. So we always did fundraisers, we always did donations, events, anything we could do, we made sure we did. So now they're called the Sonoma County Firefighters. I could say that wrong, but now we have a full staff, so we don't have to do any fundraising for that anymore. But anything Coast Guard, those guys are wonderful. I love the Coast Guards. They are a great group of people. We always help with them anytime we can. We did a barbecue contest with them one time, and they're just a good group of people. The Waves of Compassion, that was started during the fires. I think it really was created more so around like, wow, when the fires happened, there wasn't anything out here except for the community members to help. So Waves of Compassion was literally started by compassionate individuals who wanted to help and needed more behind them than just, hey, I can help. So they became a nonprofit, and now there's a food pantry every first and third Wednesday out here that the locals can go to, and you don't have to live here, but you can work here to go to it. And Ginochio's Kitchen, sometimes we provide food there too, and it's a beautiful community of different programs, different foundations, nonprofits that we're very lucky to be a part of. And I say we, it's my mom. She has done so much, Patty, and my father and myself and a lot of other community members. I could go on. There's so many wonderful people that really make this place go. All those nonprofits, all of them, they're wonderful people involved.
I hear people say a lot of times, like, about Sonoma County, like, we're all in it together, and we really are a group. So that's one of the things I love to hear is like, even here in Bodega Bay, like, that runs through and through. So
definitely.
Our podcast is about family travel. So other than Ginochio's Kitchen, what do you guys recommend people do in the area or check out either here in Bodega Bay or Sonoma County?
Well, I'm always about patronizing the local area. So anytime somebody comes into the restaurant and says, what is there to do? You might get stuck into a 20-minute conversation with me. So I always try to keep it short and sweet and highlight the places that don't get too much of the highlighting. There's a lot of wonderful popular spots out here that I highly recommend also. But I always try to tell people, immerse yourself within the businesses that you wouldn't necessarily think you would go to. There are so many great places. One of the top places I tell people to go to is the Dog House. Dog House is super family friendly. They've got amazing hot dogs. They've got amazing customer service. And right next door to it is Captain Davies Espresso and Ice Cream Shop, where you can get ice cream and espressos and milkshakes and just wonderful people, wonderful customer service. And then I always tell people to check out, go toward Highway 1, go up the coast a little bit. But if you want some good dinner, check out La Bodeguita. They're a wonderful family. They've got amazing Mexican food, coastal seafood up there too. It's a good vibe, good family, good food. They don't get as much highlight as they should. You know, there's so many good places out here. And then I always tell people to go to this tasting room. You can do wine tasting in Sonoma Coast Vineyards, and then I like to say the circle. So go through the town of Duncan Mills, go up to Jenner, Duncan Mills, go to Guerneville,
definitely check out the Redwoods, and then go to Occidental. Just because Occidental is very near and dear to our hearts as a family, I always say go to Occidental and immerse yourself in the trees.
Yeah.
If you've felt what it feels like to be in the Redwoods, definitely do it. So check out the Redwoods, go to Freestone. I always like to say check out the little towns.
Yeah,
Because you think Bodega Bay's small. Just keep driving. You're going to get even smaller towns where people are like, wait, what are you doing here? So I would highly check it out. I really love Highway 1 because you can't go wrong. One road in, one road out.
Yeah.
So anywhere out here, you'll have a good time.
And that's what I feel like we've loved exploring is all the different little places. Because like you said, there's like bigger cities and things like that within Sonoma County. But the small places I feel like are where the fun part is.
I agree. I totally agree. That's why when you reached out, I was like, I am doing this. Let's do this. Because people need to know that there's not just seafood out here. There's barbecue. There's we do catering and events and stuff. Like there's so much more that we do. There's so much more that all these other places do that they're only getting highlighted for their chowder. So it's like Spud Point Crab Company is an amazing family. If only people knew more than just their chowder. It's like same with Fishitarian. If people only knew more about the family other than what they're being highlighted for. Yeah. I'm all about patronizing. I love this town. I love these people. I'm on the chamber. I'm highly aware of what it takes to keep this town going. I never bash anybody, I never say anything bad about another business because there's nothing to say. These people work their butts off to be here and to do the things they do. And these families have been here for generations, and I respect every single one of them and the amount of work they've put in. Oh my gosh. So anytime somebody walks into the restaurant and I see them walking away and I say, what were you looking for? They say, fish or deep fried fish and chips, which we don't have. Yeah. I always tell them all the other places. So we always are about a community here, and I want to make sure that everybody survives. So
yeah, it's important.
Yeah, definitely.
The last question I had for you, I saw you've won several awards. So some of them are the People's Choice for some of the top overall restaurants. And then especially for the ribs, you guys have won the People's Choice Award in the Stumptown Brewery Battle of Brewery and Ribs. And then you were voted one of the best takeouts in Sonoma County. So do you guys plan, as your dad retired from competitions, are you guys going to do competitions now that we're post-COVID? What does that look like for you guys?
Yeah, we, post-COVID is a whole nother life, There's only one competition that we still compete in, which we just did it. It's the Stumptown Rib Cook-Off and Beer Revival in Guerneville. And it's they used to do almost 60 plus teams. Now it's super small, and there's only maybe about 30 plus teams, and we go there to do the advertising and everything. We want people to know about Ginochio's Kitchen, so we don't do any more contests. We don't do too many contests, but we will if people ask us. I will say we do have the chili cook-off coming up at the community center in October. We will be participating in that. We won first place in the chili cook-off last year, and so now all the locals are trying to defeat us. So it's really fun to keep doing them. We'll do them, but we do them for the publicity. We do them to meet people. We do them to talk people and really get the word out about Ginochio's Kitchen. My dad's super humble. He doesn't want to win anything, but in reality, he's won everybody's hearts with his food, and he's a very humble person. So this year we're gonna lay low and just do the chili cook-off and the rib cook-off for now.
Sounds good. I'm sure that's more than plenty.
Oh yeah, with a 3-year-old granddaughter, I think he's ready to retire.
Well, I appreciate your time today. Is there anything else that I haven't asked you that you want to share? Or?
I'm trying to think. I don't think so. No, I really appreciate you guys coming and letting me talk and chat, and I could go on and on, but this place is my baby, and I love it so much. And we have been fighting through fires and floods and fires and COVID and high pricing and just everything that every day is a new day, and we really want to be here. I want this to work out so bad for my future, my family, but we're just happy to be here, and we're very lucky, and we know that we're grateful, and we appreciate you highlighting us. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to enjoying some great food.
Yeah, you guys, where are you guys from?
From Santa Rosa.
No, but you said you're from the South.
Oh, yeah, North Carolina originally.
Oh, God. Okay, North Carolina barbecue. It's so crazy how many different styles of barbecue there are.
Yeah.
And, like, different styles of barbecue sauces. And, like, so my dad does, we do barbecue chicken wings with this rib cook-off because they make us.
Yeah.
So my dad developed this Alabama white sauce.
Oh.
With mayonnaise, because my dad's a mayonnaise man. Like, and I was like, what the heck? You can make barbecue sauce with mayonnaise? Like,
yeah.
You can make barbecue sauce with anything.
Well, that's the funny thing. Like, I know North Carolina is known for their mustard. He likes mustard a little bit more than I do,
Really?
but
Well,
yeah.
mustard is more of a South Carolina thing.
Yeah.
Vinegar base is North Carolina.
Oh my God, I heard his accent now.
It comes out, I feel like, every now and again between
Yours
the two of
is
us.
starting to come out. Oh my God, I love you guys. Thank you so much. Yeah, definitely. I think I heard the bald eagle. Sorry, we have 2 bald eagles that fly around here, and it's just the coolest thing. And they had babies recently, so there's more bald eagles around. I just love the bald eagles. I'm like now a nature freak for some reason.
Yeah, and you hear the calls.
Yeah, we have a lot of beautiful wildlife out here. I try to tell people that when you sit here, you get to see deer, you get to see beautiful birds that stop right here, and I don't know, people get excited for seagulls, so they would get excited for all the other things that we have out here.
Yeah.
So you guys gonna eat?
Yeah, we'll see
Okay.
how hungry the kids are. We
Okay.
might go like check out the kites and stuff, but we're definitely gonna eat lunch. It's
Well,
just
if you
now
do
versus
lunch,
later.
I recommend like the brisket sandwich, the moose sandwich, the pulled pork sandwich. We've got really good ribs. And then I've got great crab sandwiches and chowder. For the kids, I've got hot dogs, and I can do a grilled cheese.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
winner.
that's like a secret menu item. I don't. The amount of hot dogs we sell to adults is crazy. I try not to put anything else on the menu that's not for adults. If I put a grilled cheese on the menu, the amount of grilled cheeses I would be selling to adults is crazy.
Yeah, our 9-year-old's definitely excited about the hot dog, but she's also a grilled
Love it.
cheese person, so she might be.
Love it. Easy peasy. Oh my God, I'm so excited. I followed you guys.